All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Conversation Pit. Today, I'm really excited. We're back again, and I have a really small group today, but I'm really excited. Basically, with everything that's going on in the world, obviously, it calls for a time of celebration and just, being joyous with everything. So, today we're going to be talking music. We have one musician with us who's going to be kind of chatting about what he does and sharing some tips and tricks about the, field of music in the creative industry. And then other than that, we'll just kind of be talking about all our favorite songs that we kind of, use to when we create, because that's definitely very, important. Oh, it seems like I have two. Sorry, Kim. So I have two musicians today. Awesome. So that's even better. So we'll get a little bit of, from both sides and see how you guys kind of navigate being musicians in that industry. We'll just talk music in terms of how that keeps us inspired. And then you guys are at the end going to hopefully give us some feedback on how we can kind of move forward with this series. So just to start, can everybody kind of just go in order and introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so my name is Devin. I I mean I'm not I guess I'm not really a professional musician, but I've been working on music for about 4 years, and I've just been
Amazing.
learning a lot. And I'm I'm like becoming a professional musician, but I haven't like made any money yet, so like it's not like an actual
Yeah,
job
totally.
yet, but it's something that I've been like working really hard on.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm Kim and I'm also a musician. I primarily am like a singer-songwriter. And so some of the ways I make money is usually doing like session singing or like songwriting for people. But I mean, I guess I've been like really working on like my own music as an artist and like really exploring that more. And, I'm just really interested in like building community. And that's kind of mainly, been an interest this year. So
Awesome. Cool. And Michelle, if you could just tell us what you do in the creative industry and what you're hoping to get out of like, a session like this in a conversation pit session like this. Excuse me.
Yeah, definitely. So I was introduced to the series by a colleague, and then she said I should probably just check it out. I
Amazing.
actually grew up with a lot of music in my life.
Oh,
I don't
awesome.
call myself a musician anymore, but I currently dabble mostly in like film and theater.
That's awesome. Super cool. And for Kim and Devin, I wanted to kind of know what kind of music you guys kind of focus on, like what genre, I guess, realm of the music industry that you guys are working in right now.
Um, I, I don't even know exactly like how to like put it in words, because I don't know. I guess I just feel like at this point in the year 2020, music is like so
So
many
true.
things all at
Hmm.
once. So it's hard to even say, like, because I
Hmm.
I guess I love like pop music, but it's like if something's popular on the radio or if something's popular on the internet, it's like a different thing.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, but I guess I just love like good music. Like I don't know how else
So
to
awesome.
I could get more specific, but that's all I'll say for now. Yeah.
So cool. And do you like do like singing as well, or is it just kind of like beats and stuff like that?
Oh, well, so I've been like writing songs for about 4 years, and then for about 1 year, I've been like basically producing my songs into like demos. So like
Awesome.
producing them and then like mixing them a little bit, but like audio engineering is really complicated. So I would say like mostly songwriting and production, and like I'm singing, but it's like I'm not a good singer. So.
That's awesome. So cool. And what about you, Kim?
Um, so wait, what was the genre? I basically mainly do like as far as vocally like R&B, soul, I would
So
say.
cool.
But I think like some of the things that I work on are like a mix between electronic and dance, and then like that R&B soul kind of folk side. So it kind of between those two things, I would say.
Super cool. So cool. And can you guys kind of, I guess all three of you, because you guys kind of seem to all have kind of come from different backgrounds. So can you guys kind of delve a little bit into, I guess, what it's like being, a musician within the music industry, or working towards being in the music industry, and kind of some tips and tricks that you guys have learned throughout the way working as musicians. Michelle, you too as well. I know you said you work more in like theater and stuff like that, but that's definitely, something that also needs to be kind of talked about for sure. It's definitely a very creative, outlet. So if you could kind of all just kind of let me know how you guys have kind of navigated being creatives in the music industry and some tips and tricks that you guys have kind of encountered.
So I think that just first of all, like music and industry are like just two like words that have their own separate meanings. And then when you put
Mhm.
them together, it's like music industry. It's like actually a different thing, sort of. Um, And basically, I mean, as far as I have become aware, like at this point in my life, like if you want to be like a professional songwriter, then there's so much that you can do like on your computer, you know, like and I guess I'm still learning so much about like how the business works, but the number one thing that like I've learned and that I could ever say to like anyone would be basically the most powerful thing you can ever do is just like learn something on your own. Like just try as hard as you can to like learn something on your own. And then when you get to the point where you can't like where you genuinely tried and you really can't do something, like audio engineering, I'm going to mention again, is like a thing that is like it's like really complex. And there are people who spend like years learning how to, or like marketing or whatever it is, like whatever the thing is, you have to just feel empowered to like learn it on your own. And you'll just always, because it's like 2020, you know, like we can't go back like to the way things were before. So it's like literally always, it's either positive or neutral to like learn something on your own, basically.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I totally would echo that. I think that's a great point, like to do as much as you can on your own, but also like utilizing a community. I think like something that interested me about like these kind of like conversation pits is like just the idea, like I feel like especially because I feel like a lot of people in LA, right, especially like do a lot of different things, right? Like there's like so many like hustles that we do or whatever we're pursuing. Like for example, like I work in marketing and I've worked like for video production companies before. But I feel like something that I've learned is like really just like community and like kind of like what Devin was like saying, it's like there's a power in like working with like a lot of people. And like even if you think of like some of like the greatest like, you know, content that's out there, whether it's like movies, film, like performances, things that like really make an impact, there's usually like a lot of people, a lot of teams, like people on that team, right, that's like collaborating and making that vision happen. Like even if it's like just one person's name, like if it's just Beyonce performance, like there's a ton of people behind that, and that's making that like powerful. And I think that's kind of like what I think is like powerful here. I think it's smart that Michelle, that you're in this kind of group, because I feel like even as a musician, like I feel like what I want to do, what my vision encompasses, like it really it involves like so many other people, whether it's like marketing or visuals or whatever that is. And it's like the idea of collective, right, is like kind of like really powerful, like when it comes to creativity. So
yes, 100%. Yeah, especially in these times too, where like, you know, obviously like everything is digital, and like being able to maintain, you know, having those connections with people is so important. When we're unable to kind of, you know, have those in-person interactions that we typically have. So yeah, I definitely think that's, you know, I really like that you guys touched on that and how important that is, because I feel like for any artist that I've spoken to, no matter what like niche or area they've come from, that's something they've all kind of like, you know, honed in on, is this idea of community and kind of making, you know, connections within your area, you know. And so I think it's so important. I think that even, you know, like a creative who's coming in, who maybe doesn't do music, would also be really, or doesn't do whatever the focus may be, is also really important, because, you know, we're getting the opportunity to kind of like, I don't know, I could be like, what if one day I'm a videographer? I'm not a videographer. I'm just saying, like, if I was a videographer and I was shooting a music video one day and I'm a musician, you know what I mean? Like I have this idea, you know, like you know, kind of having that, you know, pool of like creatives to kind of pull from and work together is definitely everything that this series is about. So I love that you guys kind of touched on that. That's really awesome. Michelle?
Oh yeah, I would thank you. Also, thank you, Kim. I think I would definitely echo a lot of what both Kim and Devin said. And I think for at least where I've been in theater and film, I'm learning like that collaboration's not only where it's not only something that really is like helping me through the pandemic, but also just having like a lot of different intersections of different art has been really helpful. So then that no skill is a useless skill, especially when it comes to the pandemic, when you can't practice certain skills. So like, of course, live theater isn't happening anymore. And then all live performance are kind of moving into a different format. But I think having like access to different skills in film kind of helps the transition, or having different skills in maybe like dance or any other kind of art has been really helpful.
Super cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah. And again, like, you know, just honing in on this idea of community. And like, speaking of that, I guess my next question for you guys all, as like musicians, would be, what are some things that you guys would like to see as people, you know, within the music industry, that would be helpful for you, in terms of like, like features within our digital community, because I'm not sure if all of you guys know, but we have a digital community come out really soon. It's called Creatives Only. It's going to be a digital space. Obviously, it's going to be a plethora of any creative. All creatives are going to be welcome in there, but we do want to kind of feature little like sections for each creatives as well. So it's kind of niched out, and you can obviously go to talk with everybody. You could kind of go to talk with people from your specific niche. So as musicians, what would be really helpful like features for you guys to see in like a section like that? What would you guys like to see available for you guys in terms of opportunities or anything of that sort?
This is a good question. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I do know that I guess when it comes to community, like the most important thing is, or I guess the first most important thing is like communication. And then I guess from communication, then you make a relationship. And then when you make a relationship, it then becomes a community. So it's like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, I guess, like the order that you go in, like communication, relationship, community. So yeah, I guess I can't think of anything specific, but I feel like just anything that involves like making communication I know what it is, making communication feel like it's real, like you're having a real conversation, and that it's not like, so that like even if people are like exchanging money, it still doesn't necessarily feel like because I don't know, I guess I just feel like at this point in time, like in our society, people need realness, like you can't be fake, like because people know, like people completely can tell like if you're being real or fake, so well, I guess not everyone, but in general, it's like that's what would make like a good community. So
yeah. So that kind of like filtration process of like making sure that everybody who's coming into the community is really solid and like kind of all like-minded.
Yeah,
I actually saw the Creatives Only because I think from one of the email blasts I saw like some job listings or something, and so I was like, oh, these look like pretty cool. So then I actually ended up like looking at that website and like looking at the job. So it felt like a job like listing, like as far as like functionality, like of how I would use it was like to look at like jobs, because it like the way that it spoke to me too, it felt like, oh, it's like catering to creatives. Like if I were like an artist, a creative, like that would be a job I'm interested in because of like how they wrote the posting and everything. I think if I think in terms of like as a musician, I feel like something that would be helpful to me, I think, is just like, it's almost like I think of things like creative mornings, right? Like I feel like I've used creative mornings to network, and it's like they usually have like, you have a profile, right? And then also like even things like Upwork or like Fiverr or something, or things like like that you can find like creatives. But I wonder if there's like a way to be like, or even like when you're trying to find models or something like for photo shoots, like I forget what that site is that
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Where you can go but like then, find models to switch off with.
Right, totally. So, but then there's like, like sections where it's like, they're willing to collaborate, or there's like, oh, paid opportunities only, or, but I feel like if you kind of know those things, like it makes it easier to reach out, like, okay, they're open to like, you just have a conversation or whatever, get to know more people. But I think it's like, because I didn't at first when I saw the site think of it as a networking thing. I just more thought of it as like, oh, like I can look at job postings on this. But
definitely. So you think like having like within like your guys' section, like I guess more geared job opportunities that we would kind of scout for you guys within the music industry would be really helpful?
Well, even if it's like, if I'm a company and I want to go search for like a session singer for whatever reason.
So that you're like showing you're available as well.
Yeah, almost like a portfolio, a way to be like, show your portfolio and show your offerings almost. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And so as an artist too, like if I'm looking for a graphic designer, like I can also go within that network to like be like, oh, who's offering that kind of
service and kind of show like some quick pieces of work. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of envisioning, I don't know why I just thought about this, but like like a MySpace page like from back in the day, you'd go on and like your music would just be playing, like something that's like quick and to the point, like, or you would go on and like your photos are right there, you know what I mean? If I'm a photographer, my photos will be right there and you can kind of just click. Because another thing that I was talking about last week, we have this guest that joins us quite often, and he was talking about how important it is, that first impression, that like when you open like up like a page of any sort that is yours, that it should just kind of show right away like what you do, who you are, all at once. So I feel like if we did something like that, it would definitely have to be something that you wouldn't have to dig for. So if someone is going out and looking for someone, it's all about that first like impression, first click, you know what I mean? Like, what do I see? So I think having something that would be really, automatic, like whether if you're a musician, that means a song just starts playing, or like, you know what I mean? Or if you're a photographer, like something just shows, or if you make videos, the video just shows, or something like that would definitely be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Michelle?
Yeah, I think all of that sounds super cool. I was gonna say that that would actually be really helpful. Like, for example, I know a lot of like film and theater is transitioning to online formats such as podcasting, and then there's a group that I work with that always features like local musicians. So I think that'd be really useful to kind of have like that sort of not like just database, but kind of being able to like see people and just see different like tastes and flavors of music that can be created.
Definitely. Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of just like having like an open space to kind of collaborate and kind of share opportunities with one another. So in terms of like events and stuff, would you guys like more like as like a niche yourself? Would you guys like more if we had, online, whether it be online or in person, when we can do in person, for events to be more, or to have events that are more geared towards just like people from your area? Or would it be more helpful for you to kind of, network and collaborate with others as well? Because obviously like we kind of want to do a mix of both, but I also feel like it is really important to kind of give you guys a space to kind of talk with each other and have events where it would just be musicians, so you guys can all kind of have like that similar. I feel like that would just make it like you would want to attend, because you're going to be around people who are from your same area of interest. But that's just like my thought process. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys how that sounds, and if that's something that would be like useful for you guys, or if you guys would rather kind of have like larger events with like a plethora of creatives.
I would say,
No, go ahead.
okay. I would say like, well, so just in terms of music, like, I mean, at this point, like, I feel like I keep saying like at this point, just because like so much has changed like very
Definitely.
recently in terms of like technology. So basically, I feel like with the kind of music that I'm doing, like I feel like I don't ever have to necessarily be like in like the physical presence of like someone I'm collaborating with, which I'm saying it out loud and it feels so crazy that I'm saying that, because because human presence is so important. But in terms of like, I don't know, I guess just in terms of like it depends. Oh, I guess it depends on the type of creativity that it is, like, or I guess depending on the vibe of the artists themselves, like what exactly would work for them. But for me personally, I would say I wouldn't need to like be in a similar geographic location. But also I feel like it would just depend like on the person and the art that they do.
Definitely. And even if it was like a digital, let's say we did something digitally, so it's just like quicker and easier, would it be more helpful for you to kind of like have like for us to host like events for you that would be like for musicians only? Would that be like really cool for you, so you can kind of just collaborate with musicians only? Or would it be more helpful for you if it's like a larger event with like creatives from all over the place, like photographers, videographers, musicians, graphic designers, like all of that, like having everybody all bunched together? What would be more helpful for you, I guess, as a niched artist?
I guess I would have to say for myself, like I would say musicians, only because I feel like inside of music, like there are so many more specific little like things, like songwriting, and then like just there's so many things. So I just feel like for myself, where I'm at, like I think I would be, but the thing is, I would also appreciate like the other one too. So I don't even know. I feel like I can't.
So kind of like a mix of both. Like a little mix
Yeah.
of both. Yeah, definitely. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I would say so too, because I think it depends on like objective. Like I feel like it's easier for me to like find groups that are just like specific to like musicians, right? Versus like where it's like really like catering like to like all types of creatives and like really trying to give connection. I feel like it's harder for me to like be in rooms with like other creatives, right? And
Definitely.
like making connections that way. So I feel like there's like a lot of resources already as far as just like only musicians.
Okay.
And I would almost like, although I would still like I would be nice like if maybe in the same event or something there could be a breakout group where it's just musicians, and then the second breakout group would be like you're mixed with other people. So maybe it's like that way. But because I do see the benefits of both, but I feel like it's also just depending on like the objective. Like I feel like if we're in a room of like musicians, like are we collaborating together? Are we giving each other like feedback, song feedback, like I feel like that helps to be clear. And then like with like everybody, like creatives, I feel like there's things that like connect all of us as far as like the creative process. I feel like even like the industries, I feel like there's similarities as far as like, how do I stay creative and, but at the same time, like make money? Like, I feel like there's similar struggles, right? Like being a creative across
Definitely
the
across
board
the
that
board.
we can all like learn from each other. So I feel like it's just like how it went like clear as the objective when, you know, we're in those different groups, I feel like.
And what if we did like, you know, like group events to kind of be more like mingling, socializing type situations, and then like more breakout events, like niche oriented events where there would be more like workshops or like kind of geared in like, you know, situations. So that way it would be a little bit more like, you know, like I guess like meaty in a sense, because I feel like you're putting a lot of, you know, creatives together. It would be a little bit harder to do something that would be more like a project or something, just because there's so many different people and so many minds. And I feel like it would be really cool to kind of, you know, have like, you know, obviously large events. So just everybody can kind of talk about, like you said, kind of talk about your struggles as a creative and kind of just like chat and mingle, which is obviously a huge part of making those connections that are so important. But then also, you know, having these breakout like groups where you guys as musicians or as photographers or as whatever you are can work on like a specific project or even like an idea or kind of teach each other things that you guys have learned in the process. What do you think, Michelle?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, got someone else who's joining us. Awesome. All right, Michelle, you got any feedback?
I was just gonna agree with Kim.
Definitely. Awesome. I think I have somebody coming in, so let me wait till this loads up. Okay, it says they're joining, so okay, awesome. And then I wanted to kind of open up the floor for you guys, if you guys have any questions for us, like as a collective and like kind of like regarding everything that we're working on currently, or if you guys have any, I guess, suggestions or just any feedback, I guess, that you would want to provide for the collective as a whole. So you can kind of, you know, we're obviously, like I said, we're kind of gearing up to kind of like release this digital platform, and we really just want to make sure that everything that we're doing is like 100% for you, for your benefit. This is going to be your guys's like area, you know, so we can all come up with all the ideas we want in the world, but I think it's just the most beneficial to kind of hear back from the community what they're needing and wanting right now and kind of respond to those needs. So I guess Devin first, do you have any questions, or do you have a question for the group, or any like, I guess, feedback for SADA as a whole that I can answer for you?
Well, I guess, I mean, honestly, I don't even know how I found out about SADA Collective. Like, I'm just always adding things to like my email newsletter or like newsletters. And literally today, I just like saw this one and something about the colors or the shapes. Like, I literally don't know what it is. I just was like, oh my God, it's like speaking to me. So
Awesome.
like, now I'm here. I literally, honestly, like, I don't even know exactly what like SADA Collective is. Like, and I guess in terms of music, I guess what I would be interested in would be like what types of like how do I explain? I guess like publishing companies are like involved, or is it like a publishing company? I guess that's like my question. Yeah.
So SADA Collective, basically what our goal is to kind of connect creatives with each other. We feel that there's really this just like, you know, this gap, because, you know, you enter the creative industry as any sort of creative and you're told, you know, this narrative of starving artists, or that it's so hard to find a job, or that it's so hard to kind of succeed, you know, that's what you hear. And we kind of are working our best to kind of tackle that by connecting you guys with each other and connecting you guys with obviously everybody else, you know, the outside world who can kind of look at your work and kind of giving you guys that platform to do so. So basically we kind of focus on, you know, we're really focused on kind of giving, I guess, any creative a platform to kind of, you know, chat with each other and kind of show their work is what we're really focused on. So we kind of really do hone in on all different niches for this series. Conversation Pit, it's really geared towards kind of getting you guys to talk with each other and kind of network and kind of share tips and tricks of the trade. Right, as of right now, it's a pretty new series. So as of right now, we're just kind of getting our feet wet and stuff. But as soon as Creatives Only launches, which is going to be our digital platform, like I said, it's going to be an app. So it'd be any creative can go in there and kind of like, you know, find opportunities, jobs, collaboration opportunities with each other, go up and share work, go up just to talk, you know what I mean? Having that, like we kind of talked about, this community is so important. So that's kind of what Conversation Pit, which is a series, is kind of, you know, gearing towards just kind of representing everything that the app and, you know, the digital space is going to kind of encapsulate later. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. And so yeah, so I just wanted to focus on musicians right now because I felt like, it's just like a exciting time in the world right now. And I felt like, what better way to kind of talk about, something fun than music. And I feel like, as a creative myself, because I also, have my own creative, outlook after, on my own. And I really feel like, music really just inspires me when I'm creating. So I just felt it would be really cool to talk about for once. So who knows what we'll do next, but it's definitely like an open for all type situation. We definitely want all creatives to kind of come in and have a chance to kind of provide feedback to anybody, whether it be from their area of interest or not. So,
Okay. Wait, are you based in LA?
Based in LA. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. I love that you came in knowing nothing. That's awesome. I love that. And I love that the email spoke to you. That's so cool. Definitely
Yeah,
check
the
us
bright
out
green.
I love it. Definitely check us out on Instagram and kind of keep up with us because, we're really like in a really exciting time right now. I'm really excited about everything that's going on. We're just kind of like going into everything right now. Everything is so new and so fresh. And yeah, we're entering like the big, walking into the big guns and kind of just, getting prepared to kind of set everybody up to succeed. Our goal at the end of the day is to get as many, up and coming creatives hooked up with like opportunities and jobs and resources as we possibly can. That's what we're kind of working towards right now. So right now we just kind of want to get everybody acclimated with each other, kind of talking with each other, because it's all going to be familiar faces you'll see within the digital space later. So yeah, it's definitely awesome.
Okay,
I'm really
cool.
glad you came. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Together.
Of course. Awesome. Kim, do you have any feedback, questions, comments, anything like that?
No, I mean, honestly, I'm just really excited. I feel like, just looking at the Creatives Only website already, I was like really excited about it. So
Awesome.
I think this is, I feel like a lot of us are craving for a space like this. So I think, it's exciting. It's cool.
Definitely.
And thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. Awesome. And Michelle, any questions, comments, or anything like that for SADA or for each other? You guys can totally ask each other questions as well. Open up that space as well if you guys have any questions for each other.
Oh yeah, I think I also kind of in the same spirit as Deb, and I kind of had my question was, does SADA Collective focus on like one area of the creative industry? So I know we're having like a musician talk, and then I was looking at, I guess, the Facebook, and I saw a lot of like photography. Is there like a larger portion of artists that like will veer toward a certain part of the creative industry in SADA Collective?
We find that a majority of, from just based off of who I've spoken with and kind of noticed from like interacting online, I've noticed there's a lot of graphic designers in our community. There's a lot of like people who work in marketing and that kind of area of the creative industry. So definitely a lot of those realms. But I've been wanting to tap into like things that haven't been talked about so much, such as like, we have a lot of musicians actually as well, but I did just do a few interviews with some artists who did creative writing. We don't really have many of those based off of who I've spoken with. We've only had a few of those, so that's been kind of exciting. I interviewed a dancer as well, which was really cool because that's definitely like a creative outlet as well. So we're just kind of trying to find like people from every like creative niche, and kind of chatting with them, because I feel like there's a lot of like creative like areas that kind of get underserved, you know what I mean, in terms of like being represented in the creative industry as a whole. So yeah, so it's at the end, it's definitely going to be a mix of everybody. You're going to see some from everywhere. Right now it is primarily probably, I would say, graphic designers and marketing people, and probably musicians, because we have a lot of musicians as well. But yeah, moving forward, we definitely want to kind of get everybody involved and kind of make it a space for any and all creative to kind of come and feel welcome and comfortable.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, since I have a few new ones, I'll kind of tell you guys what else we're doing right now. We have our Deconstructing the Narrative series. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Basically, I'm conducting interviews with any artist who kind of wants to be interviewed, kind of just chatting about their story and kind of what they're working on. We really feel like, obviously, like there is this whole, group oriented thing that's really important, but then there's also the importance of kind of delving into like the stories of behind every artist, because that's really what makes every artist unique. So that's kind of what we do for that. So if any of you guys are interested and would like to be interviewed for that and kind of share kind of your background and story and what makes you guys kind of unique, that would be really awesome. You guys can email me at erica@sadacollective.com. So can anybody else who's watching, erica@sadacollective.com. I can also link below when I post this video, a link to a type form where you can go ahead and submit an application for that. And then we have this series going on every week. So yeah, just kind of, keeping everybody up in here. So if you guys want to join next week, I'm not quite sure who I'm going to be focusing on next week, but it seems like right now I'm kind of just like enjoying kind of talking with everybody and getting everybody acclimated with each other, like I said. So if you guys would like to join, that'd be really awesome. And then other than that, just keep an eye out because we're super close to our launch. We're gearing up for like the beginning of December. That's what we're hoping for. So definitely keep an eye out on our Instagram page and stuff. So hopefully that will kind of come out around when it's supposed to. And then other than that, thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate you guys being here. And I appreciate everybody for watching. And I hope to see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.